Welcome everyone to this CELPIP Speaking Part 2 Personal Experience Analysis. Now I'm just here in the CELPIP Library Speaking Part 2. And before we get started, I do want to remind you that Speaking Part 2 focuses more on CLB 4, 5, and 6. What does that mean? Well, that means that this question should be easy enough for CLB 4, 5, or 6 to answer well. So if you need that level, then you should do well in this part, okay? Because other parts will be more difficult. And now, if you are higher level, if you need 7, 8, or 9, it means you will do well in this part too, but it means that this part will not show your higher level speaking like part 1, 6, or 7. Those parts will really show CLB 7 or higher, okay? Because this part, it's easier for all levels, okay? Now, also I want to remind you that we do have this really great tips and strategies video. This video will give you some ideas about how you can plan to answer the question, how you can prepare, how you can read the question, and just some things that you should do when you answer speaking part 2. And some of the tips and strategies that I will be following are in this video. So I will be leaving a link in the description box to that video, okay? Now let's get started with today's analysis, okay? Job promotion. Now I'm just here in the front page of this sample, and you will see that there are two levels. There's a CLB 5-6 sample, and there's a CLB 7-9 sample. This video will be for a CLB 5-6 sample, okay? And also, I do want to let you know that most of our lessons include vocabulary building. Now, vocabulary building is a really great exercise. It teaches you some new words. For example, over here we have words, basic meanings, some synonyms, some antonyms. And then after that, you have this really great vocabulary exercise where you have to complete the sentence by choosing one word from the list. You need to clean up and your messy desk. Good question. Whatever you maybe organize, hint, hint. So whatever you think it is, you write down the word in here. I'm not going to write it for you. And then you check your score and you should get 70% and you can review and retake the quiz. Very great exercise for building vocabulary. Also, both lessons have grammar building. Now, grammar building is a great exercise to improve your grammar. Now, for part 2 students, very important, most of the questions are in the past tense. So lower levels, 4, 5, and 6, we need to know our past tense very well, but also can be present tense and some future tense. We need to know our basic tenses, okay? And this grammar exercise is a very great lesson to inform you about past tense. And then you have some exercises. You read the exercise. I my teeth 3 times yesterday. I cleaned my teeth 3 times yesterday. Number 2, it was hot in the room, so I opened the window. Okay, so you write it down. It was hot in the room, so I opened the window. Very great. You write it down and you do them all like that. There's some more here, some more here. And we check our score and you see, oh, I only got 3%, but I need 70%. So you can retake the quiz and then review your answers. Very great exercise to build your grammar knowledge. Okay, everyone? All right, and then we have our question practice. And again, we're going to be doing the CLB 5-6 sample question practice. Okay, here we go. Okay, so here we are in the question, okay? CELPIP Speaking Part 2, Personal Experience, Preparation Time 30 seconds, Speaking Time 1 minute. Okay. So one tip that I can give you right now is 30 seconds. You should read, of course, read the question in less than 30 seconds, okay? If lower levels, we have to try to read it as quickly as we can. Very important that the main topic will be in the first sentence. Talk about a time you got a job promotion. That's all you need to understand. Promotion. You got a higher level position. Talk about a time you got a job promotion. That is the topic. Okay? That is what you have to talk about. And then the question usually it gives you some examples. And also it gives you some questions that you should answer when you're speaking. Where were you working? What was your job position? What was the promotion? Why do you think you got the promotion? So then, everyone, you see, we have to make sure that when we answer the question, that we answer all these 4 questions in our answer. So it's like a little guide about what you should speak about. Very important. Okay, and so for this question, everyone, I will be following our speaking guide. Now, again, the speaking guide. So the speaking guide, everyone, if you want a more detailed understanding of the speaking guide, then please watch the tips and strategies video in the link below. For now, all I want to tell you is that, well, usually this question, like I said, its complexity is 4 to 6, not very difficult. That means that lower levels, you should answer this question well. Higher levels, of course, you should answer this question very easily, okay? And also for higher levels, this question will not be the question that will determine whether you are 7 or higher, okay? That's important to know. Most of the questions involve past tense or simple tenses, okay? Using present, past, future, simple, very important. Lower levels, it's so important not to make so many mistakes with simple tenses. Higher levels, definitely you shouldn't make any mistakes with simple tenses for 7 or higher, okay? But lower levels, just a simple example, is or are, was or were, right? Will be, going to, conjugating the verb, study, studies. That kind of error you should try not to make, okay? And then, of course, very important, everyone, we want to have a complete response. Use all your time. No matter your level, you should try to use the full minute. Speaking for 30 seconds is too short. But also, you have to try to finish the question in 1 minute. Okay, so one thing that we can do is we can get to the last part of the question faster and speak more about it. I will explain more of that later in the example, okay? But again, using all your time, very important, okay? All right, and then here we have how we should organize our answer. Yes, organizing our response. And this is something that I will be using as I speak, and I will be telling you each part, introducing the question, answering the first points, okay, second points, and last points. The points are the questions that are in this topic. There are usually 2 or 3 questions, or sometimes 4. Again, you see here these questions. Where were you working? What was your job position? What was the promotion? Why do you think you got the promotion? Right. So that's what it means here with answer the first question, second question, last question. Okay? Very good then, everyone. Let's get started with today's analysis. So then, here we are. All right, everyone. So again, we're going to talk about a job promotion. That's the most important thing. So let's introduce the question with that topic, okay? I'd like to speak about a time I got a promotion. Very clear, very direct, exactly what we want to do, okay? All right, so I'd like to speak about is structure. I'm going to put structure in blue. Organization, structure, sequence in blue. I got a promotion. Got, past tense, main grammar point, past tense. I'm going to put main grammar in red and everything else in black. Okay? So now let's get to the first questions. Where were you working? What was your job position? We have 2 here. First of all, I was working as a cashier at Costco and I loved it. Okay, so that answers the question, where were you working? I was working as a cashier, yeah. Where were you working? Past continuous. I was working. I mean, during that time period. So past continuous. Okay, and I loved it. One idea is not enough. We should add another one. Also, I worked there full time from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. every day. So I put there about the schedule. Good idea. Very good idea. Okay. And then, everyone, very important, past tense, right? Was working, loved it, worked. Very important. And connection, first of all, and also. Okay. Very good. So what's next here? Second point. Okay, let's get to the second point. What was the promotion? Okay. Regarding what the promotion was, well, I got promoted to cashier manager. So what was the promotion? I got promoted. Now notice this regarding what the promotion was. Regarding is a good word to use to connect. It just means about. You can say about what the promotion was. Okay. Or you can say regarding. Or you can say secondly. Okay. This is a good sequence word. Well, what do you think? Well, this is a good natural word in English. Kind of shows that you're thinking or you think something. Okay. Well, I got promoted. Okay, so then we had another idea about the promotion. So I got a raise of $5 extra per hour. Wow. And I was so happy. Okay, very good. We talked there about the extra raise that you got. So that's a really good idea to say there. Extra raise. Okay. So, very good. This second part answered the question, what was the promotion? So now we're going to get to the third part. The third part. Why do you think you got the promotion? Always very good to answer the last part with personally, I think. Very good way, because this is a personal experience question. So say personally. Personally, I think. Good connection. Personally, I think I got the promotion because I worked very hard. And I helped all my coworkers whenever I could. So the manager saw my hard work. Very good ideas there, everyone. Very good ideas. So, does it answer the question why you think you got the promotion? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Okay. And we got it because we worked very hard. Yes. Okay. So, the managers they saw what I did, and that's great. All right, then, everyone. So, this example here for sure is 6, okay? 6. Now, why is it 6? It's important to understand that. Firstly, because it's complete. One idea, another idea, all the way to the end. We answered all the questions. So, complete answer. Complete answer and well structured. I'd like to speak about, first of all, also regarding, so personally, I think very good connection and sequencing. And that's always important for level 6, okay? And then our ideas. Our ideas were really good. Working out as a cashier, got the cashier manager, $5 extra. I worked very hard. Very good ideas. Clear, very clear ideas. Okay, and then the other reason is because we used grammar perfectly. Okay, especially past tense. Got, was working, loved, got promoted, worked, could. If you use grammar perfectly, you will get a high score. Okay? If you make too many grammar mistakes, well, that one will be 5, everyone. More grammar mistakes, not such good connection, 5. All right, so CLB 5, keep that in mind. Too many grammar mistakes, too many, 4. Not good connection, broken ideas, 4. Okay? But clear ideas, very good connection, very good grammar. It's not very strong, this answer. Then 6. Okay? Now, let's not forget that it is speaking. And that means that we need to speak this answer in 1 minute with very good flow and intonation. Flow and intonation. Yes. What does that mean? Well, it means slowly, clearly, yes, and continuously. Very important. Continuously is important. Slowly, clearly, continuously. That is the way that we want to speak with flow and intonation. And so for that, I'm going to be doing that right now for you in 1 minute, okay? I'm going to be trying to speak this answer with very good flow and intonation in 1 minute. So everyone, what I want you to do is follow along as I speak this answer in 1 minute, okay? And also focus on my intonation, specifically my pronunciation, okay? My pitch changes according to the stress of the sentence. That'll be really good. Here we go. I'd like to speak about a time I got a promotion. First of all, I was working as a cashier at Costco and I loved it. Also, I worked there full time from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. every day. Regarding what the promotion was, well, I got promoted to cashier manager. So I got a raise of $5 extra per hour, and I was so happy. Personally, I think I got the promotion because I worked very hard and I helped all my coworkers whenever I could. So the managers saw my hard work. Now, everyone, keep in mind that I was trying to speak there at a CLB 5-6 level, meaning that I think 5-6 students should speak it like that. Now, it did take me the full minute, but even if it took the full minute, I still spoke slowly, clearly, and continuously without breaks in my speech. The more breaks, too many pauses, and broken speech or sentences, 5 and 4. Okay? Now, 6, you can have some breaks, some, but not many. But more continuously, that is stronger. Okay? So then, what can we do to practice? Well, to practice, first we need to read and understand this answer. Let's read it and understand the structure. How do we use the structure? Yes, let's read it and understand how it answers every question. This one is here. What was your job position? It was over here. What was the promotion is over here. Why do you think you got the promotions over here? Let's read and understand that, okay? And then let's read and understand the grammar and language. Got a promotion, was working as a cashier, got promoted to cashier. Let's understand the grammar and the language used, okay? Very good. Now, the second way to practice would be to read and speak in 1 minute. Reading and speaking to build your flow and intonation. Now, everyone, yes, I can read this answer in 30 seconds. If you speak this answer in 30 seconds, it's still going to be, it might even be too short. Because more fluency means you have to speak more. We need to speak for 1 minute or almost all the minute. Okay? So, reading and speaking the answer in 1 minute is a great way to practice your flow and intonation. And then the last step, everyone, will be to speak this answer in 1 minute without reading it. Can you do that? Can you speak the answer after you read it 3 or 4 or 5 times? Can you speak it in 1 minute without reading? Well, if you can do that, then you're level 6. And you need to go to the next level because it means you have really good knowledge. And when we speak the answer in 1 minute, we speak it from our knowledge, not from memory. I'd like to speak about the time I got a promotion. First of all, I was working as a cashier at Costco. And also, my shift was from 8 a.m. until 5. You see, am I speaking from memory? No, I'm not speaking from memory. I'm speaking from knowledge. So, when you practice speaking the answer in 1 minute, it's from your knowledge, not memory. If you're trying to remember, oh, what was it? What was it? A cash. No. That means that you're not ready and you need to practice reading and speaking it more. When you are ready to speak the answer at the level 6, you won't do it from your memory. You do it from your knowledge. That's the difference, okay? So that would be the last thing to practice. Okay, very good. So then, everyone, for that, I will be leaving a link in the description box to our lesson sample, okay? And you can go to the question and you can see there, you can practice it. Very good. And also, don't forget that you can practice the grammar building and vocabulary building exercises. Very great exercises to build your vocabulary and grammar knowledge. Very good. Lastly, everyone, let's not forget about CELPIP Library. Now, CELPIP Library has over 60 examples of speaking part 2, an interaction with an animal, doing it again, a home project, feeling surprised, a valuable profession, skills, place to visit, my family, a movie, an event, your dream, doing it again. Oh, we read that one already. Winners, bad service, an older friend, being stressed. So many topics, energetic. Over 60 examples of speaking part 2, where you can read sample answers, read and speak. Very great way to improve your speaking part 2 knowledge, okay? And for that, with discount code CELPIP79, again, that's discount code CELPIP79, you can get a 3-month subscription of CELPIP Library for $10.99. What a great deal, everyone. That's a great deal. And I strongly recommend it, okay? Let's not forget, practice makes perfect.